Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Portage Lakes Joint Vocational School District regular meeting. Call to order at 6:02. Ms. Wright, would like to call the roll?
Mr. Chinaki?
Here.
Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Mr. Fowler?
Here.
Mr. Hercules is absent. Mr. Hofer?
Here.
Mrs. McGraw is absent. Mr. Petrie?
Here.
Mr. Jibiden?
Here.
And Mr. Campbell is absent.
I'm going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So welcome everyone. Do we have any visitor comments? No one in the gallery? All right, we'll move ahead to the report of the treasurer.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a recommendation to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 17th, 2023 as presented.
So moved. Mr. Petrie?
Second.
Mr. Hofer? Call the roll.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mr. Jibiden?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 2 is a recommendation to approve the financial reports, check register, bank reconciliation, and comparative financial report for the month of August 2023 as presented, subject to audit.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Would you like to call the roll, please?
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Abstain.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jibiden?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 3 is a recommendation to approve the fiscal 2024 permanent appropriations as presented. Legal level of control shall be fund level.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Jibiden?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Motion passes. I'd like to make a note that at 6:04, Mrs. McGraw has joined the meeting. That concludes the treasurer's section.
Move on to the report of the superintendent.
Okay, first we'll have Ms. Tripney.
As a special treat tonight, I'm not going to be talking very much. So I actually am able to stand here month after month and report to you solid numbers and gains in adult education, but that is not because of me. That is because of the 3 people that are sitting here in front of you, and I wanted to, at some point, introduce you to them and make sure that you knew that these are the folks that really make adult ed run and tick and are the heart of all those gains and of all that growth. So I'll start with Laura McVeigh.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
I'm the Adult Education Administrative Assistant. I started with PLCC in January of this year as a part-time administrative assistant, and I'm full-time now because we're so busy. When classes are in session, I work 12 to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and I'm here during the day on Fridays. So I'm here when the adult education students are here when they need something. The adult education office is a very busy office all year long. We are here throughout the summer preparing for the fall. And when the fall programs begin, we continue to receive many inquiries about programs for the spring or the next school year. I provide administrative support to Kim and Ida from the time a student enrolls until they graduate. Some of the things I do include creating student files, identification badges, payment plans. I process payments. I also do extensive data entry in academics, which is our student data management program, including payments, financial awards, and scholarship awards. And on the Ohio Higher Ed website, I do data entry on there as well. I also complete transcripts and prepare graduation portfolios for the students as they complete their programs. In addition to that, I fulfill requests for transcripts and education verifications, which come in all the time. There are a lot of moving parts to what we need to do from the time a student enrolls until they graduate, but we work together to improve our processes all the time to keep everything moving forward like a well-oiled machine. We have a lot of repeat students, some who have attended PLCC as high school students and adult education students who return multiple times for different programs. A common theme is that they feel at home here. They enjoy and feel safe and comfortable on our campus. They value the small class sizes and the one-on-one attention they receive from their instructors. Just yesterday, a student came into our office to meet with Kim to review financial aid. I was just making small talk with her while she waited. I asked her how things were going. She got the biggest smile on her face and she said, "Great." She went on to say, "I love it here. It's not like I have to go to school, I get to go to school." Witnessing a student's happiness and sense of fulfillment during the program, or especially when they've completed it, is a constant reminder that what we do here does matter, and it makes a difference in the lives of these students. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Ida. I've been here approximately 2.5 years now, so I started in March of 2021. I'm basically the initial face of Portage Lakes Career Center Adult Education. I build the initial relationships and draw in the prospective students by walking them through our processes, answering questions in a timely and patient manner. I manage all of the recruiting and admissions. I go out to attend college and job fairs throughout the year along with Kim. I tour prospective students, so I bring them into the building. A majority of the students who come into the building end up enrolling, so we like to get them in here to see what we have to offer, and sometimes they get a chance to talk to our instructors. I handle and respond to all of the applications, information and tour requests, and all of the inbound calls. So this past year I processed approximately 950 applications for this academic year. We had 475 information requests and at least 500 inbound calls. The goal is to respond to any inquiry within 24 to 48 hours, business hours. Some of these people who call in, it has taken them years to pick up the phone and get that courage and to be ready to call in and talk to us. I hear it all the time. And there are a lot of people who shop around for their education. They want to know what's out there. I want to be the first one they talk to. So we strive for excellent customer service by providing quick responses and answers to their questions as thoroughly as we can. We're thankful for the adult students that we have. They have a lot of choices, a lot of barriers, and they make a lot of sacrifices at their expense to better themselves. They chose us, so we do our best to take care of them and provide that excellent customer service. And that attitude that we carry towards customer service as a whole in adult education is why we receive accommodations from our accrediting agency, the COE, and why students recommend their friends, their coworkers, their families to come here. We hear it all the time. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I love what I do. My background is supply chain. It is not any missions, but it's been my dream job. And I was fortunate enough to get hired, and I'm here today, and I love it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
It's going to be really boring after that. I'm Kim Robinson, and I have been with Portage Lakes Career Center for 9 years. I have seen our enrollment. I just can't even imagine how much it has increased, but I've seen it grow leaps and bounds with the addition of Ida. And we were in desperate need of an administrative assistant, and Laura is amazing, so I'm lucky enough to get to work with both of them. And as she said, I feel like we are a pretty well-oiled machine. We're always tweaking our processes to have the best student experience we can have. My biggest role is how are the students going to pay for their tuition here? So I work with every adult education student from the part-time programs, which are not financial aid eligible, to establish payment plans. Laura and I work with keeping those payment plans on track. For all of our part-time nail technician students, they register for state boards. I work with them doing that. I work with several different agencies to cover tuition. Work with the Ohio Means Job Centers in Stark and Summit counties. I work with opportunities for Ohioans with disabilities. I work with the Office of Workplace Rehabilitation. We do a lot with retraining of individuals. We just lost an employer in Summit County, the Yellow Freight, and we've got several applicants that are being funded to retrain to come back in the workforce in one of the trades. So I think that could be a big boost in our enrollment as well. And their education will be covered through the Ohio Means Job Centers. I also am a school certifying official for the Veterans Administration. So I work with all the veteran students. I process their enrollment verifications. They have housing stipends. The Veterans Administration has a lot of requirements, so I'm required monthly to attend school certifying official training. So we have currently 8 veteran students now, which I think is pretty awesome. I also process all federal financial aid. So each student that is in a full-time program, 600 clock hours and over, is eligible to receive federal financial aid. They must complete the FAFSA online. I probably work with about 95% of our students, sit with them and fill that out with them. A lot of them have never done that before. And it can be daunting, and a lot of them have not been in school for many years. So I work pretty hands-on with each individual student. Just as an example, for the past 4 years, I've processed over $1 million in federal financial aid, and that's from beginning to end. My job is to work with the student on their FAFSA, create their eligibility, they accept their offer. I will go into the Student Aid Internet Gateway, Sage Network, and create the award, transmit it through the Department of Education. They approve my work, and then I work with the student to disperse the funds. I must balance our federal Pell Grant, which is need-based, and our federal student loans monthly with the Department of Education. Since 2021, we've been averaging 1.1 million, an average of 102 students receiving federal financial aid per year. Prior to 2020, our average was about 62. So you can see that our enrollment has grown with leaps and bounds. We also have several private pay students, so we keep payment plans for those. At the end of the year, I'm proud to say, with the Treasurer's Office and Federal Financial Aid Office, we've balanced every year and no discrepancies, and I do enjoy what I do very much. The details can be a little frightening sometimes, but the student interaction and the outcome that I see is worth every second. Some students are able to receive a living expense refund, so those are processed within 14 days of the financial aid process. So I meet with each student and do what's called counseling as far as taking on student loan debt. So it's sometimes the first time a person has borrowed from the federal government, they need to be made very aware that the federal government takes borrowing very seriously and the loans must be repaid no matter what. And for some of these students, that is the first time. So part of my job is entrance counseling, and right before they graduate, I do exit counseling so every student knows what they owe, who they repay, and when they go in repayment. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I am glad that we are here to provide this service to this community because it's really important and it's really necessary. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim.
Just as a quick note, which they did not say because I don't think they'll toot their own horns, but this year we've surpassed 200 in enrollment, and that is record for Portage Lakes adult education. We've never had that. In fact, we were over 220, and perhaps with the addition of our spring classes, we might actually enroll over 250 students this year. And that is because of the 3 of them. But thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity to provide adult education here at Portage Lakes, and that's all for my report.
Thank you. Okay, we'll dive right into the agenda. Item number 1 is employment. We have one administrative exempt contract with Lillian Johnson, who will be joining our team as assistant treasurer in October. In adult ed, we have an emergency dispatch instructor and 2 part-time practical nurse instructors. I'm recommending that the board approve the employment contracts.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mrs. McGraw?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 2 is a resignation. Savannah Greenwood, our assistant treasurer, is leaving to go be a full-time mom, and I'm recommending that the board approve that resignation.
Yeah, exactly.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. McGraw. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mrs. McGraw?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 3, we have 4 board policies for their second reading. So this will be the time when we would vote on those. 3 of them are required and are revisions, and 1 of them is a minor revision to our board minutes, but does not change our policies or procedures. I'm recommending that the board approve the board policy updates listed.
Get a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Chinaki. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mrs. McGraw?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 4, and the last item, is an equipment donation from Ethan Partain for Mazda wheels with tires, estimated at $100. I'm recommending that the board approve that donation.
Can we get a motion and a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm so moved. Second, Mr. Fauser's in second.
Thank you.
We're gonna call the roll, please.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mrs. McGraw?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And that concludes the report of the superintendent. Moving on to new business. Anyone have new business for the board? All right, we will move directly into board member informal. Mr. Cohen, we'll start at the end.
Thanks. Fantastic report on adult ed. I mean, wow, that is, since I've been here, I've seen such an explosion in the growth of adult ed, and testament to how hard you work and the rest of the staff, and all the marketing that goes in, and the good things that are being said about the program. So, fantastic job. I'm good.
I was able to share a picture at our Springfield local board meeting that Kim shared with us of all the athletes that appeared, and that was very well taken, and I appreciate the communication that we get from you.
Thank you.
Ms. McGraw.
So I have a couple of students that are in band, and they also attend here, and so I'm like pumping them for information. And the one guy says, he goes, they treat you like an adult. Like you walk in, and he goes, it's almost hard to go back to school because then you get treated like a punk. Not my words, his words. And so it was just an interesting conversation we had with him, and he told me how much he loves learning and stuff. And side note, so my son graduated from here in 2017, and he had Mrs. Householder in the exercise science division, and he goes, I need to tell her how thankful I am for her teaching me how to take notes. At the time, I hated it. However, he's almost 25, and he's like, I realize what a great skill she taught me so many years later, because he's taking notes. New company, he's doing really, really well. Not in exercise science, but it's applied. So give that information along to her if you can. But it's awesome. So thank you very much for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Mr. Hofer.
Thank you. A couple of updates from Columbus. Interesting. Sarah Fowler, author out of 99th District. She submitted House Bill 235 with the congressional maps that are being redrawn in the state of Ohio. House Bill 235 seeks to have a fully elected State Board of Education whose districts would be the same as Ohio congressional districts. And it's interesting. It doesn't stop there. It moves the races from a nonpartisan ballot to a partisan ballot complete with primary elections. I'm not sure the reasoning of that. If passed, House Bill 235, it comes at an interesting time because the State Board of Education has already been stripped of much of its power with the last House Bill 33. Parlay onto that, House Bill 267 from Mike Loychek from Cortland goes a step further. It makes not only the State Board of Education and local school boards partisan, so that's really interesting, and primary elections, that we think the fallout with that would inadvertently limit the pool of highly qualified individuals from running for local school board races. As legislators pursue partisan races for local school boards, OSBA has already come out against that. I would agree with that. As one who has watched both sides weigh in, Democrat and Republican, I think we need to go back to our core beliefs and keep the parties out of it as much as possible. So, another interesting thing that's come out in the state, Governor DeWine has appointed a House Bill School Bus Safety Work Group compared of 13 governor appointees with backgrounds in transportation, education, public policy, and medical research. The working group is tasked with examining topics of school bus regulations, school bus design, maintenance and inspections, driver's licensing, certification and training, of which I used to be a school bus driver. I'm going through the recertification process now. It's rather interesting. School bus safety technology, crash risk factors, lessons learned from other school bus accidents, alternate transportation and associated risk. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Here's a hot button issue, school bus safety belts, special safety of special populations, critical incident protocol. This is an interesting statistic. The group was formed and they've discovered since 2018, there have been more than 6,000 crashes involving school buses in the state of Ohio. It sounds like an alarming number. Those crashes account for less than 1% of automobile crashes in the state. So public transportation of school buses is one of the safest in the state. And not to be outdone, Senator Sherrod Brown in Washington has even waded into the school bus safety as his office recently announced education to enact federal seatbelt requirements for buses. I don't know where that's going to go. You have 24 seats, 2 kids to a seat, all strapped in, and God forbid that you would have an accident and you have to unstrap all those to get the kids out. I'm not sure where they're going with that. That's my report to the board. It's an interesting one.
On a lighter note,
Mr. Bowser?
3 welcomes to our new 3. It's very nice. I like listening to the comments. Kim, is there an age limit to your VAs? Because my older brother I'm wondering how I could get him roped in. I mean, getting him to sign up. And again, he's one of those that you talk about. I mean, he keeps on talking about doing something. He's almost 80. He just sits in the house by himself all day long. I go learn to weld.
Years ago, we actually had a retired gentleman who started out in welding, but he felt like his eyesight wasn't sharp enough, so he transferred to HVAC, and it was basically to learn a skill trade, but to keep his mind sharp, to keep going, so.
Smart move.
Yeah.
And he was a great asset to the class.
Yeah. Mine's a Vietnam vet, and he's been there and seen too much, and he won't even talk about anything that happened over there. But anyway, that's mine. Thank you so much, the 3 of you.
Mr. Jack?
Thank you. Yeah, to Laura, Ida, and Kim, thank you so much. I really appreciated you sharing your stories, your background, and experiences here at PLCC. I love the passion that came through in each of your voices as you shared your experiences and what you do kind of on a day-to-day basis. I thought that was really, really nice touch for the meeting, so thank you for that. And, I mean, the proof is in the pudding with the work ethic that you three have and how it translates into the numbers that we're seeing. I mean, it sounds like 250 is a potential in the spring and over 200 this fall, so really, really cool to hear, and probably feels like a thankless job at times, but we all appreciate what you do for the school and for our students and staff, so thank you.
To wrap up, yes, again, thank you very much. That's a lot to be proud of, and that comes through too, and that's very cool. And I'm glad to have gotten updated and learned a lot about it. So with that, next meeting is Thursday, October 19th at 6 p.m. And barring any other inquiries or notes, we will make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Fauser, thank you very much. Mr. Wright?
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes?
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. McGraw?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. We're adjourned at 6:27 p.m.